even ready. I'm not even ready. Give me like give me like 2 more minutes. All right, y'all. I'm here. I am here. I've been working all day to set up this live stream and to get y'all prepared and ready to learn to make passive income. Okay. So your girl has been watching multiple of YouTube videos, hearing a lot of people and TikTok videos, hearing a lot of people talk about how they just having a hard time when it comes to making not making money, but I keep hearing videos that everybody's like filling out all these applications and they're not getting jobs. And if y'all been on my TikTok and if y'all been on my YouTube, y'all know that I talk to people about, you know, transferring from employee mindset to 1099 and beyond. Okay? That's what I talk about. That's what I like to talk about because I believe in freelance. I believe in creating small businesses. I believe in believing in your value and not allowing applications to in jobs to be the source of or the definition of who you are. Okay? So I came on here today to basically show you guys how I created passive income and how I accidentally put my coloring book on Amazon. That is the conversation for today. And then I'll be teaching you guys how you can create passive income. Today there will be a Zoom call. If y'all can go over to TikTok, y'all will see the picture that I have above. Okay, same name as my YouTube. Okay. So anyway, there is an image that says how I accidentally made passive income and teaching you how to do it too. Okay, boom. So I'm going to share with you guys the background story of how I created this coloring book. How did I accidentally put it on Amazon? And then how you can do it too. All right. So that is what today's video is about. So if you've been applying to applications over and over and over again and you just like, okay, I need some income. Okay? I'm trying not to cuss. I'm trying not to cuss. So I am filming this on YouTube and TikTok. Okay? So I am Sultry Accessory. I am a digital design coach for YouTube and e-commerce. What does that mean? I help people take their talents, their skills, their gifts, their hobbies, their interests, and their experiences and to deliver a message online, which thus it attracts people to your message online. And then they want to know more from you. So thus I help you create digital products on the e-commerce side so that you can have income. That is what I help people do as a digital design coach. Okay? Now, let's get to how I accidentally published this coloring book. Okay, this very one. Okay, so it is called Align by Design Affirmations for Creatives and Entrepreneurial Spirits. Okay, it is an affirmations coloring book affirming that you can create money through your talents, your skills, your hobbies, and your interests. Okay, boom. How did I start doing this coloring book? Where did it derive from? Okay, boom. Back in 2018, I'm not going to show y'all the coloring pages yet, but yeah. Back in 2018, I was watching Tony Gaskins on YouTube, okay? And Tony Gaskins is a life coach, okay? Some of y'all know Tony Gaskins for like his dating content or however. Was I listening to his dating content? Of course I was. Yet he started to talk about business, right? So he's a life coach. Life coach for dating, relationships, business, however. Boom. Back in 2018, I was watching a video from Tony Gaskins, and he said this number one thing that always stuck with me till then, and thus I created the coloring book a year later after I heard him say this message. Okay? Okay, boom. So I'm watching the video of Tony Gaskins. At the time, I was not in my apartment anymore. But that's when I first discovered Tony Gaskins. When I was 21 years old and I had my first apartment, that's how I first discovered Tony Gaskins. Now, anyway, in the video, he says this one thing that changed and made a total shift for me. He said, you want to create something of your own in which you can never get fired from. As soon as that man said that, my wheels started spinning. As soon as Tony Gaskins said, you have to create something of your own that you cannot get fired from. As soon as he said that, I said, oh shit. I tried not because I'm like, oh shit, he right. He right. Because you always want to have something in the background, right? You always want to have something else in the background that's giving you income besides your job. Okay? Regardless if you have the job today or you don't have the job tomorrow. Okay? You got to create something that's of yours. I said, okay, Tony Gaskins. I said, okay, I hear that. Bow. Broke that ish down. I literally took out my notebook and piece of paper on that video. It was a video he made back in 2018. Boom. Made this coloring book in 2019. Alright. So then, I got my little notes so I tell the story right. Okay. Okay. So it really woke me up because have I ever been fired from a job before? No. I've never been fired from a job before. But I started noticing this pattern within workplaces, right? That I would somehow magically be, hey, hello. I would somehow magically be put out of workplaces. Like, okay, I share that here on my YouTube channel. If you ever watch my YouTube channel, I always share stories about like push and pull type of ish that happens in life. Like you lose a job, or the 9 to 5 ain't working, or your family talking ish about you, or your family always got your name in their mouth, or they always tell you they doubting their opinions. I always make content like that on my YouTube channel. Okay, boom. That's how I start off because I'm getting people to see where the gap is in life. You have a loop, you have a pattern in your life that keeps playing on and on and on and on again, and you wondering why you stuck and you stagnant and why you are where you are in life. Boom. That's why I was watching Tony Gaskins to begin with. Okay? So Tony Gaskins is a life coach. I said, okay, Tony Gaskins, I wrote that down. I said, these workplaces ain't really work for me anyway, but even if I still go out and give me a 9 to 5, I still need to have income in the background. I said, okay, so what the hell I'm about to do, right? Okay, boom. So I sat there, and something told me, I remember going to the library, and I found this, no, I didn't go to the library. Take that back. I started watching Mindful Attraction on YouTube. Y'all, I'm a YouTube junkie. Okay? Like, if any social media platform is YouTube. So I started watching Mindful Attraction. You know how Mindful Attraction always talk about Robert Greene? Okay. He was talking about the art of seduction. But Robert Greene has this book called Self-Mastery. Okay? Self-Mastery. Coloring book. Get to know you, your talents, your skills, your hobbies, and affirm your journey. Okay, boom. A journey to making income through your talents, your skills, your hobbies, your experiences. Okay, boom. So then I got to watching somebody else on YouTube. Yes, I'm getting to the story. Do y'all remember that podcast? It was called The Roommates Podcast. Okay, boom. So while I'm in the midst of watching Tony Gaskins, Mindful Attraction, and The Roommates Podcast, I don't know how I started watching a whole bunch of men channels, but I was. In the midst of all of that, I was on my iPad one day. I'm getting to the story. I was on my iPad one day, and I put in the word drawing on like the Apple Store. Okay? So I ran into 2 apps. Okay, in the midst of watching the All Day podcast. I'm going to get to the roommates podcast second. Okay? So I'm like, let me put in drawing because this is what I do in my spare time. Like, I'm an arts girl. Like, I'm always designing something. Like the color. I like to draw. Whatever. Boom. I was just doing some regular-ish I used to doing. Okay, boom. So then, I come up with 2 different apps. One is Amaziograph, and then one is Procreate. So I don't know if y'all know what Amaziograph is, but you can make mandalas. You don't even have to be artistic. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all want to make a coloring book, you don't have to be artistic to do it. You don't. Okay? Even though I am artistic, you don't gotta be artistic. Alright, let me put the coloring book down for a second. Okay. So, Amaziograph is, y'all ever saw this? It's like a radio symmetry and the pattern repeats in like a circle. Those are called mandalas. And it's on that app, Amaziograph. So, boom. I play with that for a second. Then I get to Procreate, this Procreate app. It's very popular now, but at the time that I made the coloring book, it wasn't that popular. I just happened to find it on my iPad. Okay, boom. So I get to doodling. I'm just like drawing. You remember, like, okay, if y'all go back in the days, I don't know how old y'all are, but y'all ever have like the paint application on like Windows XP and then you just do all those random chicken scratch doodles or whatever? Okay, boom. I was doing chicken scratch doodles on Procreate, right? Okay, boom. So in the midst of me doing doodle scratch drawings on Procreate, I'm watching this video from the Roommates podcast. I don't know why I was watching them, but I was. Then they get to promoting this thing. You know how when you watch YouTubers, they be promoting different stuff? Like brand ambassador and different stuff or whatever. So the Roommates podcast with Hafiz and Chris, they were talking about this thing called Skillshare. And I said, I said, what the heck is Skillshare, right? So they was like, you can go on Skillshare and learn all kinds of ish. I said, what? I said, I can learn all kinds of ish. I said, what? Okay, so mind you, I'm in the middle of drawing on my iPad, doodling. Not really drawing nothing for real, just writing chicken scratch. Because everybody, when you first get the Procreate app, we like, how you work this damn thing? Everybody just, you get the app and you're like, how is people drawing and all this stuff on this Procreate app? Okay, boom. I get on Skillshare. Ooh. This is how I accidentally made passive income. Okay, boom. So I get on Skillshare, right? And I said, okay, so I got to doodle it. And then I said this. I said, I don't want to doodle no more. I said, I want to make coloring pages. Okay? Mind you, as a child, when I was in my grandma's house, she will always give me a coloring page from Rocky Rococo's. Y'all know the pizza place. Boom. Back in the days when I was growing up, Rocky Rococo's will always have coloring pages. Like, if y'all know the restaurant Ponderosa, they used to always have coloring pages. I will always be that little kid with my food with a coloring page. Okay, boom. That's how my grandmother and my mom raised me, with a coloring page. Boom. Period. I'm on Procreate and I said, okay, I want to make these coloring pages. So I thought to myself, I'm like, how am I going to make coloring pages? Okay, mind you, let me show you one of my pages in my coloring book. Okay, so mind you, it's a affirmations coloring book for creatives and entrepreneur spirits. I'm talking funny. Boom. So this one says, accept who you are and stand by your own definition of beauty. Okay, what does this represent? This is somebody who has the skill of braiding. People who have the skill of braiding, they get salon suites and then they start braiding folks' hair. Boom. So this is one of the talent, skills, gifts, hobbies you can use to affirm your journey and wherever you want to go. Okay, let's say you don't braid hair. Okay, boom. If you go here to create your own scene, lights, camera, action, that is the affirmation. People make money from being a photographer. People make money from vlogging. People make money from making YouTube videos or TikTok videos or Instagram videos, wherever you can use a camera. Thus, you can make money from a camera. So y'all get it? So in this coloring book, it is a affirmations coloring book to affirm your journey of your talent, skills, and hobbies, so thus you can make income. Okay? It is to believe that you can. It is a rewiring tool. It don't just have your talents and hobbies and skills in here. Also has affirmations for elevation and how you take care of yourself. This coloring book is to remind you to prioritize you and what you like in the journey, in the path you want to go on through your talent, skills, gifts, and hobbies. Okay, boom. That's why I meant that is the reasoning of the coloring book. Okay, boom. So I'm on Skillshare, Hafiz, made my coloring pages. Finally made my coloring pages. They're done. I'm showing my mom. I'm like, Mom, I made all these coloring pages. You should look at them. Now, at this time, they're just Procreate drawings. They're just Procreate drawings. I never made it into a book at this time that I'm showing my mom. I'm just showing my mom this Procreate app I found. I'm like, Mom, I found this app. I'm like, Mom, I found this app. And, like, this is so cool. This is so cool. Look what I'm making. Look what I'm making. Right? And I think I'm just drawing stuff on the iPad. Then I had this thought in my head. Okay? So I grew up in after-school programs. That's probably why I'm doing what I'm doing. I grew up in after-school programs. Okay? And I also grew up in this camp. And in this particular camp in Wisconsin, yes, the back of the thing says Wisconsin YouTuber. Yes, boom. I published this in 2019. Okay. I grew up in this camp, y'all. And it's a camp that does digital designs, web design, magazine design, camcorder. At the time, it was camcorder. Okay. Tell him how old I am. At the time, it was camcordering. Okay. And this is where people took their camcorders. They set up this big chunky tripod, and we recording everybody outside playing. Right. Okay. Recreation. Everybody playing out on the field. Everybody got they little sections, groups that they like to do. Okay, remember, I was taught at a young age web design, magazine design, okay, camcordering, and then towards the end of the camp, I went 5 years in a row. The last year, I learned video editing. I said, okay. I got to a point, and I said, okay, I got all these pages now. I got all the affirmations. How the heck do I piece together a coloring book? Okay? I'm asking myself, how the heck do I piece together a coloring book? Okay, look. This is how I found the magical answer. I told myself, go back in your childhood. I'm like, how do I piece together this coloring book? So remember, I told you I went to a camp that taught me how to do magazine design. So I'm thinking how I piece this coloring book together. I said, wait a minute. I know how to piece this coloring book together. I know how to piece this coloring book together. As soon as I found what that tool was back from my childhood, I pieced together the coloring book. Now, as I'm piecing together the coloring book with this certain program, this is why you need the Zoom call. Okay? This is why you need the Zoom call. Okay? Go to my TikTok. Y'all will see the picture that I'm pointing to. Okay? sultriaccessori. Same name as this YouTube. Okay. If you want to know how I piece that coloring book together, that's what I'm going to tell you in that Zoom call. Okay? Boom. So I'm like, okay, I pieced the coloring book together. As soon as I pieced it together, I go on Google and I type in like something like, I don't know if I put the word published coloring book or I said something about, I don't know. I like Google search something. I don't know. Mind you, this is 2019. I Google search something. I get into this thing where it's like upload your book. Mind you, this is Amazon KDP. Never heard of it. This is how I accidentally made passive income. Okay? It said upload your book. I said, what? Upload your book. So I'm on that thing with the mouse. Okay? And I get the scrolling. I get the clicking shit. That is literally how I became a digital design coach. Because I was always curious. Whenever I was on a computer, I'm like, what this button do? That's literally how I started YouTube. Exactly. I was on YouTube one day and it said upload a video. I said, what's that? Curiosity. You gotta have enough curiosity to see where life gonna take you. So I'm on this computer just clicking ish. That is how I accidentally made passive income. So I get done with the whole Amazon KDP thing accidentally. The whole entire story. It'll be on my YouTube so you can rewatch it, okay? Accidentally. I accidentally made passive income. Okay? You want to do it on purpose, yes, but it was an accidental story. Okay? So, I get done doing Amazon KDP and didn't know nothing about Amazon KDP. And I already knew how to do Canva. Cause I went from the Paint application on Windows XP to PicMonkey. I don't know. No, it was an application before that. It was called iPicky. Okay? Then it was PicMonkey. Then it was Canva. This is my journey from how I started doodling on a computer to now. Okay? Enough of the script. Can you still do it? Still do what? What do you think that blue thing is for you to find out? What do you think that image is up there for? So anyways, the book gets published on Thanksgiving of 2019. What? And I was like, this can't be real. I said, this can't be real. I literally was just scrolling, clicking on random-ish, uploaded the whole entire book onto this application called Amazon KDP. I had no clue what that was. And at the time, to be honest, I really don't remember it being called Amazon KDP. I feel like it was called something else, to be honest. And then now it's called Amazon KDP. So, cause once I got done uploading the book, this is how it was an accident. Once I got done uploading the book, towards the end, it said something like, do you want an ISBN number? I was like, what is that? I was like, what is an ISBN number? Okay, so basically, here's the back of my coloring book. This is an ISBN number. And it gives you one so that it's registered. Like your book is registered, your book is published. Okay? It asked me, do I want an ISBN number? I was like, what? But then I was like, okay, whatever. Right? Just, okay. You know how you be on the computer? Okay. You know how you be on the computer as a child and then you just be clicking shit? Literally. That's what happened. And then towards the end, it was like, how you wanna set up your bank account? I kid you not. I literally made passive income on accident and published it on Amazon. This coloring book in 2019. And so now I teach other people as a digital design coach how you can make digital income streams online. That is what I do. Not just through Amazon KDP, but also through YouTube and also through e-commerce. I teach people how to monetize their YouTube without even having the YouTube monetization requirements. Yes. So, with that being said, I will leave a link in my description box on YouTube so y'all can get the Zoom call so So y'all can find out the, how do I say this? The Procreate workshop Zoom call. So y'all know how to piece together a coloring book. Yes. Okay. So y'all will know. How do you do it? So you might be asking, hold on, let's see what type of questions you're going to be asking me because I wrote it down. How do you actually draw these things? That will be answered in the Zoom call. You don't know how to draw, but you want to make a coloring book, I can show you how to do it within that workshop. You think that I made them coloring pages with Canva or AI? I did not. These coloring pages, I did not use Canva nor AI to make these coloring pages. No, I didn't. No, I did not. AI wasn't even a thing when I made these coloring pages. It wasn't even a thing. I think it was just coming up or something when I made these coloring pages. I did not use Canva nor AI. Okay? Do you have to be artistic in order to make a coloring book? No, you don't. No, you don't. Next. How long did it take me to make that coloring book? That coloring book took me a long time to make it. I ain't gonna hold you. Because, like I said, I was using the Procreate app. And I drew them. One by one by one by one by one. Once I got the images together, I had to do all the affirmations one by one by one by one by one. Then I had to figure out how to piece together the book. Like, how do you actually make a book? And then I had to get on Amazon KDP. And then put back, on the back end, attach the payment so that I get paid for it. So yes, it took a while. This is not instant money. This is not an instant thing. No, but it's a way of passive income. Anything anybody makes of passive income, it took them some time to even formulate it. Don't think it's, I make a coloring book and no. Remember, you still got to market your book. You still got to talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? Okay. Also, y'all probably going to ask me, by the way, it took me a long time to do it. Also, because I was using my weekends, okay? I was using my weekends to go to the library. Yes, I was like a straight up nerd, and I don't care. Okay? I was using my weekends to what? Puzzle together this coloring book to make me passive income on Amazon. I'm going to say YouTube. Yes. And it took me 4 months to do it. 4 months. Would I do every single weekend? No. And the last question y'all probably going to ask me. So, do I need an iPad to get started? Yes, you do. If you're going to use the Procreate app, yes, you do. I think somebody said they got it on their phone. Like their Apple phone. You're going to need that. And folks be like, do I need this? Of course you do. Of course you do. But it's this one girl on TikTok. She don't use this. I don't know how she don't use this, but she used her finger on that Procreate app. Okay? On that drawing app. Procreate is a drawing app. You get it on the Apple Store only. It's only on the Apple Store. It is not on Android. Okay? So you gotta have an iPad and you gotta have an iPhone. Either or. Okay? Either or. It is not on Android. So if you know somebody who got an iPad or an iPhone and you trying to make a coloring book with the Procreate, what did I name this thing? The Procreate blueprint for coloring books, Zoom workshop call, whatever I called it. Whatever it is. But yes, I'll leave it in the description box below. And then once I leave it in the description box below and y'all see that place that it'll take you to, okay, boom, you scroll all the way down and you're gonna see this blue image that say whatever I called it. whatever I call it. You're going to click on that. And then that's going to save you a spot for the workshop. The workshop is on Fridays. It ain't every Friday. It ain't. So you're just going to reserve you a spot. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to think about crafting a coloring book. Okay? Once again, this is my coloring book. It's on Amazon. I'm going to read to you the back of it. So you have the synopsis of my coloring book and why I made it. Okay, so it says, have you been feeling like yourself lately? I mean your true self. Are you tired of hearing what everyone else thinks is best for you? Have you found yourself using social validation as a measurement of your self-esteem? This self-actualization coloring book was created for young women like you. It don't gotta be women, but it is women targeted, who may have got lost in the sauce and other people's doubts, opinions, when truthfully, at your core, you are aligned by your own design. Aligned by design. Okay? If you feel like you need to be out here making content, make your content. Aligned by design. If you feel like you need to be out here getting money by braiding hair, braid that damn hair. Okay? If you feel like you need to dance to the own beat of your own drum, then do it. Forget what everybody else talking about. Because that's why I make content on my YouTube channel and on TikTok talking about the push and pulls of life. Your family get on your nerves. Everybody telling you they dots and opinions all the time. Trying to get you to be something that you're not. Trying to get you to fit in a role you really don't want to do. The job got you trying to comply to ish all day long when really you rather be doing something else. Which is probably your talents, gifts, and your hobbies to begin with. Okay? Once again, I'm a digital design coach. I grew up in after-school programs, the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, and many other names. I believe in taking your talents, skills, gifts, hobbies, and experiences, crafting a message online, attracting an audience, and then your audience wants to know more from you, so thus you create products and services for them, and thus you get paid. That is what I believe in. If you don't believe in that, kudos to you. But I'm a believer. You see Jesus up there? I'm a believer. There you go. So that is how I accidentally made passive income through Amazon KDP. And if you want to know more about that, I will leave that in the description box on YouTube. As far as TikTok, on my page, you're going to see it right there. You're going to see where you get navigated to. You get that, put that in a web bar, scroll all the way down. You're going to see a blue picture, and y'all can sign up for a workshop. Okay? That is my story. I'll see y'all next time.